Okay, good evening, everyone. Can everyone please take a seat? Okay, I'm gonna try again, okay? These are teachers. These are teachers, right? Okay, I'm gonna try again, all right? Can everyone please take a seat so we can get started? Okay, welcome to our May Board of Education meeting, and I hope everyone enjoyed Mother's Day. The weather was beautiful. Okay, and then to begin our meeting, can everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Please take a seat. Okay, to begin our meeting, I will have Dr. Hell, our coordinator of Fine and Performing Arts, to introduce our talented students who just did a fabulous job at Lincoln Center last week. So, Dr. Hill, all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers, Ms. Cheng, and the Board of Education for the opportunity to honor our students tonight. It's been an extraordinary month for Syosset Music. Just recently, you may have heard the Syosset High School Chamber Orchestra was named the National Grand Champions at the ASTA National Orchestra Festival. And our All Eastern Wind Ensemble earned accolades at the prestigious All Eastern Convention as well. So adding to this string of honors, one of our high school chamber groups was selected through a highly competitive process to perform at Alice Tully Hall at Lincoln Center, one of the most prestigious stages in the world for young musicians. This selection was part of the Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center's Young Musicians Concert, a program established in 1984 that offers exceptional middle and high school musicians the opportunity to refine their chamber music skills and to perform at Lincoln Center. Participants are chosen from a competitive pool of applicants in the New York's tri-state area and receive coaching and mentorship from Chamber Music Society artists to prepare for their performances. Tonight, we are proud to feature the CMS Young Artist String Quartet from Syosset High School, who just made their own Lincoln Center debut this past Thursday for a wonderful audience. Please join me in welcoming this outstanding ensemble featuring Sean Lim, Aiden Chantemson, Valerie Liang, and Carolyn Wang performing a movement of Dvorak's Quartet number 21.
Thank you so much. For 1 second, I thought I was in Lincoln Center. Bravo. Really, really well done. And best of luck to your future endeavors. Thank you again. Thank you. Okay, so now give us a few moments to move to the stage, and then we'll begin our meeting. Thank you. Okay, so we will begin the meeting with the approval of minutes. 5A and 5B can be taken together, and they're the approval of minutes of the April 21st, 2025 special meeting and the April 23rd, 2025 monthly meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, second by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, and then we are going to have our final budget hearing. So we'll have Dr. Rufo, our Associate Superintendent of Business, to give us the budget presentation.
Okay, tonight's presentation represents the state-required budget hearing for the Syosset School District's 25-26 budget. Tonight's budget hearing follows three detailed presentations that began in February. The budget for the 25-26 school year supports enrollment of about 7,200 students across 10 schools, and we're very pleased to be recognized by Niche.com as the second best school district in New York State. At the start of our budget process, since the start, we've been committed to the following budget priorities. We wanted to preserve all of our academic programs and services, including the extensive co-curricular clubs and athletic offerings. We remain committed to our students' social and emotional well-being, and our budget for 25-26 provides the needed support in these areas, such as a social worker in every building and our continued partnership with Northwell Health. We're committed to maintaining and improving our facilities, and the 25-26 budget supports several small-scale projects. And we remain mindful of our important role in providing fiscal stability to the district. We are again presenting a budget for 25-26 that preserves all of our program while coming in with a tax levy that is below the cap, despite the considerable budget challenges for next year. Some of the challenges we've been discussing for several months, including escalating health insurance costs, We continue to manage inflation, both in the supplies that we purchase, as well as contracts that we need to renew that are tied to inflation. We've had a decade of enrollment growth, and so we continue to face the pressures of that in terms of our instructional resources as well as our facilities. And 2005-06 presented challenges in terms of our escalations in transportation costs. This graph gives an indication of the growth that we have experienced over the last decade, about 16% increase in enrollment, and this is a trend that we know is somewhat unique to Syosset. And it's also important to look at the pressures of the budget and the specific areas that they impact. And so this chart gives an indication of some of the items that we've been talking about. And if you look at the first two, the regular and special educational programs and related benefits, which are also tied to inflation, account for about 60% of the increase in our budget. Other student services account for another smaller proportion, and then you can see the contract transportation and buses accounting for about $2.5 million of the increase. Liability insurance, some inflationary costs there, as well as market forces that are outside of the district control, mainly a lot of settling of CVA cases that are happening statewide, and all other represents about a $300,000 in increase for a total budget increase of about $10 million. Now, one of the ways that we're hoping to continue to manage expenses is with the purchase of 3 buses. And this is a strategic change for us, but I guess going through 2 RFPs where we've seen considerable escalation in our transportation costs, give us an indication that it's time to begin to explore moving in a direction of owning some buses to help manage these costs and exert a greater control. And we anticipate, we're starting with 3, and we anticipate these will be used for a variety of purposes, maybe a late bus route, an athletic route, field trips, and perhaps some home to school. And this is cost effective. About 36% of it is covered through state aid, and that will be over the next several years. And we anticipate breaking even on the cost in the 3rd year. And given the life cycle of buses of over 10 years, we anticipate substantial savings in this area. So we're pleased that despite the challenges that we're able to bring in a budget with an increase of 3.53% with a calculated tax cap of 2.8% and an actual proposed tax levy of 2.77%. We're about $67,000 under the tax cap, and if you look back over the last 12, 13 years since the institution of the tax cap, we have been under the tax cap by a cumulative amount of about $11.2 million. We are required to present the budget in a 3-part format. And the chart at the left shows the different components of the budget, the administrative, capital, and program. And to the right, you can see the proportion that those components of the budget make up. And you can see that the program, the instructional program, accounts for over 3/4% of the budget. The admin section is the smallest, and that includes building supervision and central services, legal, and things like that, is under 10%, and the 3rd component is our capital component, which houses our custodial, maintenance, and then debt service and transfer to capital, where we do our capital projects. Our sources of revenue for the 25-26 budget are listed there next to the 25-26. And state aid, even though we had a bit of an increase, still accounts for about 12.13% of our overall budget, and the tax levy being the largest component of about 79%. You can see that there's an increase in the amount of reserves from the second line down, restricted reserves that we're applying to the budget to help offset impact to the tax levy. The facilities work that we plan to do as part of the 25-26 budget includes HBT tennis courts, the renovation of the existing courts, and the addition of 2 new courts, staff renovations to come into line with ADA compliance. We have a plan to upgrade the sound and lighting systems in the secondary school auditoriums, and we plan a variety of district-wide electrical, roofing, masonry, paving projects throughout the district. The budget also includes an allocation for professional development for our teachers to explore the potential of artificial intelligence to enhance instructional design, differentiation of instruction, and personalized learning. At the elementary level, you can see up there, it includes project-based learning experiences, the secondary projects, there's advanced writing feedback tools, and I would encourage those who were not able to see the presentation last month to take a look at that as well. Our budget continues to support a variety of programs at the elementary level. We are incorporating an updated version of Go Math at K through 5. We have new parent curriculum workshops, and we're adding an additional 913 class to support more students that have intensive needs inside the district. And we also plan to implement a comprehensive new program in UPK to promote literacy readiness. In our middle schools, we have allocations to enhance grade level transition from the 8th grade to the high school. We have continuing STEM curriculum updates, including the adoption of a new LEGO program that aligns us with New York State computer science standards, and we have ongoing student workshops and teacher professional development across content areas. At the high school, we offer 31 AP classes, and in 25-26, we have new course offerings as listed up there: applied physics, aquatics management, Korean 5, and enhanced science research and orchestra programs. We also have enhanced 6 through 12 information fluency to help our students develop judicious practices in their use of current technology. Arts and music education, we continue to lead and have a lot of success in those areas, and I think the presentation we heard a few minutes ago is just clear indication of that. And our budget continues to support all of our arts and music education programs. Athletics, again, we continue to see great success, some of them listed up there, and the budget continues to support all of our teams and new equipment and purchases in that area. All of the budget detail can be found on the web, different versions of the budget. And all of the presentations that we gave throughout the last several months. The budget bulletin, the newsletters should have arrived in homes or will be arriving in homes. And the district budget notice, which is the document on the left, will be arriving in homes in the next several days. And the budget vote and election is next Tuesday, May 20th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rufa, for the presentation. And then for now, we are going to move on to the budget hearing audience to the public. Audience had a chance to sign up before by 5 p.m. today, and for today we have Melina Lampert. I'm sorry, but each person is only allowed to speak, so I am unable to give you extra time, but Dr. Roger will say some words.
Yes. Ms. Lambert, thank you again for your comments. We had the opportunity to suggest to you that somebody from the district could call you. My understanding is that took place. Wouldn't be right for me to disclose that conversation.
And that's the appointment to tenure. Okay, all right. So just bear with me. We have Erin Go. Wait, that's not. Wait, I'm gonna say the names.
Yeah, you have moved in second, and then you can.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Bertolo, seconded by Dr. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, all right. I am going to read the names. Okay, Erin Goldthwait, Dr. Sari McCune, Christopher Myers, Scott Stuber, Jessica Tam, Joanna Waters, Courtney Adler, Emily Almeida, Dr. Christina Balducci, Allison Barrett, Lauren Beek, Kirsten Berwick, Megan Bildsey, Marisa Bacchetti, Courtney Brown, Jessica Kashia, Amanda Casey, Stephen Sempa, Jennifer Connolly, Michelle De Benedetto. Okay. James Doherty, Colleen Dowling, Jessica Fabero, Emily Fight, Matthew Gelfer, Denise Glenn, Mary Kay Gobel, Jennifer Graham, Lucia Guzman, Angela Iervolino, Donna Kim, Taylor Keel, Dr. Thomas Kelly, Sophie Kim Guo, Tracy Lador, Elizabeth Mackey, Marissa Maltz, Alexandra Martinez, Courtney McCloskey, Paul Mesita, Eric Neely, Megan Molina, Thomas Magno, Caitlin Maluli, Elizabeth Nuzolosi, okay, Nancy Paradiso, the next one's Catherine Ruckel, Christina Sacco, Samantha Sears, Lauren Silverstein, Holly Simone Ram, Nina Soto, Donna Souther, Alexa Tyner, Emily Vogt, Daniel Wall, and Jennifer Yu.
And somehow we missed Alexandra Guerin and Matt LaTora. I don't know why they weren't.
I don't know. Okay. Alexandra. Okay, and last two, but not least, I have Alexandra Guerin and also Matthew LaTora. Okay. Okay, congratulations. Okay, I just wanted to extend my heartfelt congratulations and warmest welcome as you officially join our Syosset family as a tenured teacher. Today marks a significant milestone in your career, and we are proud to recognize your dedication, talent, and unwavering commitment to our students and learning community. We look forward to continue the impact you'll make in the years ahead. Congratulations on this well-deserved achievement.
I'd like to add my congratulations to Ms. Changs and the boards, and I'd want to make a couple of observations as you're now joining the team permanently. So first is, for those who don't know, maybe who are watching online, it takes, in most cases, 4 years to earn tenure. What that means is that many of you were hired in the spring of 2021 to start work in the 21-22 school year, a school year that was marked by all the challenges of COVID. It was an extraordinarily difficult time to teach in the first place, even more difficult to be an early career teacher, just as hard to make the transition to a new employer from an existing employer. In short, you didn't have an easy 4-year journey to get to this place, but you got here, and it shows something about your qualities of persistence and hard work and attitude that you were able to get through those challenges and arrive at this place. I'm fond of the phrase that friends are the family you've chosen for yourself. I have in my own life lots of family that I've chosen for myself. You are people that we have chosen to be part of, as Ms. Chang said, this Syosset family. And we don't take that choice lightly, and we didn't just choose you once, but we chose you twice. We chose you once when we hired you, and we chose you again tonight to be part of this family permanently. So it validates our initial choice, but it also means that we feel certain this time around. So I congratulate you on that. But this is not an end. This is the end of the beginning. Now you have the rest of your careers with us to work. And all the work that you've done in these years to earn tenure, I hope that's the trajectory you'll stay on. I hope you never become complacent. I hope you never become satisfied. I hope that you keep striving to improve your own practice and to improve the way we work as an organization so that we do the best job possible serving the students and children of this community. So those kids are heading to a future that will be somewhat uncertain. AI is changing the landscape for them. Lots of other things are changing around them. The best defense they have against an unknown future are the skills that you will give them, skills that are transferable across any of the challenges they might encounter. I was talking with Ms. Merton just before she left, our orchestra teacher who did such a marvelous job with these young people we heard from earlier, and she was making the point to me that they are a metaphor for all of the things that hard work can accomplish, all of the things that will happen when you have talent and hard work together, and what it means to work in a group and to work together in a group collaboratively and what can be accomplished that way. That's the role that you have. You'll collaborate with your colleagues and you'll accomplish something incredible for young people as you do it. In almost every interview that I conduct with someone in my office, I will ask a form of this question, and this will sound familiar to most of you. From your mental highlight reel, pick out a scene with you and a child. And I ask that question because I know that teaching is hard work. What I want to find out is if, for you, it is also heart work. And so many times I hear stories of incredible and deep connections to young people, how they've changed you just as you've changed them. That is more than anything extrinsic in this work. That intrinsic motivation is what will keep you going through hard times like COVID or through whatever hard things come ahead. So never lose touch with and never lose sight of those things that intrinsically motivate you, those highlight reel moments with children. Because as full as your highlight reel might be right now, it's about to get a lot more full in the years to come. Congratulations, and build an amazing highlight reel.
I can't agree more with Dr. Rogers. Really, this is it's a milestone. It's a big moment for all the tenured teachers. Congratulations again. And so as we move on to our meeting, if you want to make a graceful exit, now would be your perfect timing to do so. But you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. All right, so the next agenda I'm on the list will be 8A, and we are going to have Ms. Abramson to talk about the Citizens Finance Committee. And the meeting took place on April 24th, 2025.
Now it's on. You got it. This is like a tough act to follow, guys. You had instruments, you had tenure. It's not awesome. So for the Finance Committee meeting, we talked about a few different things. The insurance RFP that was talked at of the meeting before, there was discussion of the possibility of interviewing respondents to the insurance RFP, but the response wasn't what the administration had hoped for. So they're now analyzing that development and making a plan to see we are adequately insured for the fall. In regard to the New York State budget, at the time of the meeting, we had discussed how the district had budgeted the amount of the assistance the state would give since they were about a month late. To be conservative, they followed with the governor's January proposal. Regarding federal grants, there was a question about if federal programs were turned into vouchers. It was explained that the district gets about $2.5 million for IDEA and Title I grants, as well as $1.1 million in food services. The IDEA funds are tied to individuals with disability and at least likely to be turned into vouchers. Title I funds support students in poverty, and the belief is if they were turned into some kind of student-based program, those students would likely stay in Syosset as it may not cover the tuition of a private school. The last topic we talked about was transportation and the strategic choice of planning to purchase busing that will break even about 3 years, as Dr. Rufa talked about. The district may consider purchasing again next year to achieve further savings and further discuss the advantages of having owned buses. So that concludes the meeting.
Okay, thank you. And Dr. Rufo, can we have the treasurer's report and appropriation adjustments, please?
Thank you, Prakash. As shown on the treasurer's report, the cash on hand for the month end March 2025 was $74,601,396.12. It shows that bank balances for all cash accounts were reconciled to the book balances and were collateralized in accordance with the district's banking agreements and investment policy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rufo. So AB and AC can be taken together, and they're the approval of treasurer's report and appropriations adjustments. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Hilakov. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, and next we are going to move on to Dr. Rogers' superintendent's report.
Thank you. Continuing our series in presentations on the instructional program, I've asked Ms. Goldthwaite, congratulations on receiving tenure this evening, to lead her team in an explanation of some of the changes that have been occurring in the special education program, improvements that you've been leading with your team, and the changes that we anticipate on the horizon as we continue to refine our practice for our learners with extra challenges.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers, Dr. Curry, and the Board of Education for this opportunity to highlight the new programming that you have supported, which in turn has allowed and enhanced opportunities for diverse learners here in our district. Our goal as a district and a department continues to be creating a community where all students feel a sense of belonging and have access to educational programs and supports that meet their unique needs. Enhancing learning opportunities and programs builds our own capacity and expertise as well, allowing for more students to be educated here in their home districts and participate in the same school community as their neighbors, siblings, and in turn, promoting a deep sense of connection and identity. These aren't just additional programs, and experiences that we're building here, it's a system-wide statement that students belong. We want to spend some time tonight sharing how enhancing our programs have led to increased opportunities for student success, peer connectedness, and community inclusivity. We've been able to focus on creating environments and programs to meet differing student needs, building awareness, understanding, and connections between students, staff, and creating partnerships to foster inclusive environments and community engagement. Despite the success of the many different programs that were already up and running within the district, we continue to see an upward trend of students requiring more supportive settings. It's helpful to understand the additions and enhancements that have been made by looking at our original program options and visualizing exactly how we have grown here. Integrating co-teaching expansion at the elementary and high school levels began our growth in programming prior to the 22-23 school year. This ICT model brought an extreme benefit to the district and to students and staff in many ways, and Dr. Rogers and the district thoughtfully rolled out opportunities for this expansion to happen and to create what it is today. A complete model at the middle school, a complete model at the high school leading toward advanced Regents diploma options, and a model that's utilized based on student need at the elementary school level. Prior to the 22-23 school year, we also had special classes at the elementary school. And when you see numbers in a row, those are ratios of classes. The first number is number of students, second number of teaching staff, third number is the number of support staff that's associated with that class program. When you look at what we did have prior to 2022, at the elementary level, we had special class options for students per grade level with a 12:1-2 ratio. Middle school class options with a 15:1-1 ratio, and two different programs at the high school. One with a 15:1 ratio, which led toward a diploma option for students, and another class with a 12:1-1 ratio for students who benefited from more functional and vocational focus on learning. Students whose educational, social, and behavioral needs did not fit the models of the 12:1-2 program at the elementary level or the 15:1-1 classes at the middle school level were typically educated in an out-of-district setting. While these programs and schools and out-of-districts offer amazing opportunities, classes, and instructional programming for students with more intensive needs, we also wanted to find opportunities and ways to explore to be able to build our own programs here within district. We wanted to be able to figure out, as appropriate, how and where could we find A, space, and B, an opportunity to enhance the programming options for our students in the least restrictive environment. Last year alone, we would have had upwards of 11 primary elementary age students that would have placed in out-of-district programming if we did not build capacity here within district. Looking at this timeline, you could see how and where we have built options for student participation and streamlined our own programming itself. In 22-23 school year, we started looking outside of the classroom to enhance opportunities for students to participate in our school culture and extracurricular opportunities. This was where the birth of Challenger and Unified Sports began here in Syosset. That started with just basketball at both the middle school Challenger level and high school Unified level. The next school year, we looked and decided to find ways we could build additional programs. Here's where we started a 12:1-2 class option at the middle school called RISE, Reaching Independence Through Supported Education. We added additional administrative support at the CPSE level. We added, and thank you for our social work increased hiring, allowing us to have one social worker within each of our buildings here in district, and intensified and added to our Challenger and Unified programs by adding Challenger track and Unified bowling. In addition to that, we started to see this extend outside of our school community, and we have some students here which will share their experience and their opportunity of their creation of their own adaptive softball clinic. The next school, this current school year, 24-25 school year, we also added another program at our elementary level, and this was an addition of a 913 class program at our Village Elementary School. Not only did we enhance the program options for students to be educated here within district, we also were able to extend the expertise of our staff in working with students with more intensive needs. That included additional support from behavior analysts, additional speech therapists, and an increase in teaching staff that knows specifically how to work with students with varying and intensive needs. We also will hear a little bit later about the addition of Challenger Cheer, which was not a district choice, but a student demand, as well as additional opportunities where students extended outside of their school community, not only continuing the adaptive softball clinic, but also finding high school students creating a Unity tennis program. Into the next school year, we are adding a second 913 class option, additional psychological support at HBT, and exploring additional ways where we could potentially expand opportunities within Challenger. It should be noted that next year, we would have had anywhere from 6 to 8 kindergarten students placed in out-of-district programs if we were not able to build this program here. In addition to that, we are also talking about upwards of 8 additional students K-12 that would be returning back to district to be educated within our programs here in Syosset. What I want to do now is introduce to you today Ms. Stephanie Purcell, who is our administrator for CPSE and elementary special education, to talk a little bit more about some of the expansion and how we've been able to identify opportunities of belonging for all students and staff.
Good evening. While we explore the benefits of 2 specific programs today, our 913 housed at Village Elementary and the RISE program at H.B. Thompson Middle School, there are more global benefits that have been impacted by our programming across the district. These benefits include the collaboration of preschool special education with approved agencies and UPK programs, which focuses on the student support and identifying trends in our student needs. An additional benefit is an increase in the cross-contracting opportunities from other districts, providing potential revenue for the districts while saving on our out-of-district transportation and tuition. A third benefit includes professional development opportunities and staffing, which builds enhanced instruction and growth for all students while increasing an interdisciplinary approach to learning. And a fourth benefit is providing flexibility in the approach to classroom placement, which allows movement from the general education and special education continuum of service. The district-wide approach can be visualized through the continuum of service offered by the Syosset Central School District. This continuum was developed with the continued goal of building programs when possible to extend the ways we are able to support students within the district. By extending these layers of special class options, there are expanded opportunities to integrate with peers and connect students to the community at large. Integrating students with diverse needs enhances all aspects of our school and community, which provides advancement to build our capacity as professionals and further develop our approach to another district goal, which is to utilize that interdisciplinary approach, which we will continue to highlight this evening. While in many ways our student body and staff are familiar and comfortable growing alongside a variety of neurodiverse learners, the continued development of our program deepens our connection to the community. One key area of support has been in our staff training and team meetings, which specifically incorporates the AAC or speech generating devices. Through hands-on work, teachers and support staff have become more confident in recognizing and responding to a range of communication styles. This training is not only increasing access for students who rely on AAC devices, but also creates a culture of respect and patience and communication differences. Our focus has been on more interdisciplinary approach in which all classrooms, including elective and special area class teachers, benefit from collaboration among general educators, related service providers, and support staff. They are champions of inclusive practices. This year, the district supported training for our special area teachers and elective teachers, K-12, including art, library, music, Project Beyond, PE, and world languages. In this two-part workshop series, teachers worked with staff developers to understand how to meet the specific diverse needs in their environment while collaborating with colleagues and learning from one another. Additionally, our related service providers, including our speech therapists and occupational therapists and behavior specialists, regularly pushed in to the learning environment to provide real-time support, allowing for skills to be taught in small group and individual sessions to be reinforced, applied in authentic and meaningful contexts. This layered model ensures that instruction is accessible, responsive, and relevant to all the diverse needs of our students. The work that we are doing is made possible by the programming that you have supported, which promotes access and belonging to all of our students. I now want to introduce the Village Elementary School principal, Dr. Sari McEwen. Oh, there you are.
One of the most powerful aspects of our inclusive model is the way it fosters meaningful peer connections. Creating a culture of awareness and inclusion isn't just about access, it's about belonging. This means helping all students feel seen, valued, and connected. As we continue to support neurodiverse learners, we also are nurturing the social, emotional development of all students. Building empathy, flexibility, and understanding in our classroom strengthens the community as a whole. It's important to highlight that inclusion efforts span the entire district, ensuring all students take part in field trips, curriculum celebrations, global play day, and assemblies. True inclusion means understanding students' varied needs, including sensory regulation. Support such as movement breaks, noise-canceling headphones, flexible seating, and weighted items are part of everyday practice. For example, during a recent field trip to Seussical the Musical, some students took brief breaks with an adult. Also, at our winter celebration, every student shared a holiday tradition, whether verbally or using speech-generated devices before an audience of their peers and their families. Our growing programming has shifted the way we discuss engagement. This may look like teaching the school community how to support communication for a student utilizing an AAC or speech-generating device, or providing choice either verbally or pictorially when trying to play together. Communication isn't the only aspect of engagement that may look different. Play is too. All grade level students play together during recess, center time, and Fun Friday activities. It isn't unusual for our students to have questions about how to keep their counterparts included and engaged. It has been helpful to provide options and model play alongside their peers using cars, Legos, or even the playground. This work continues as students develop a better understanding of turn-taking and perspective-taking. There is also an educational piece happening simultaneously as the staff are teaching students that communication, both verbal and nonverbal, allows people to connect and understand one another. Our building team continues to foster these opportunities. Our students are eager to know more. While we've piloted some in-building connections, you'll hear more about on the next slide, what is even more exciting is when students look to initiate play and engagement on their own. Recently, we had a cohort of second graders ask their teacher how they can interact and initiate play with our kindergarten special class students. A huge success that bloomed this year with our 913 students is the work done with their fourth grade book buddies. This opportunity has allowed for our fourth graders to connect with our neurodiverse learners. Here are some reflections directly from the students, as their voices really always tell it best. They've shared feelings of honor and warmth, saying things like, "It's been fun getting to know my buddy and learning what they like so I can help. And it makes me feel like we belong and we're connected to each other." Many students have highlighted how their experiences have deepened their empathy, with one student reflecting by saying, "I like being their helper now." just like when I had my 5th grade buddy. The connections are not just academic. Students have described special moments of genuine bonding, like when their buddy gave them a hug, or when they collaborated on creating posters together. These experiences have created lasting memories and genuine friendships, such as one student mentioning, "When I met my buddy, I knew it was going to be a great year." This program extends beyond the classroom. It's about building a community where everyone feels valued. It's about fostering friendships, shared experiences, and a deeper sense of community. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Goldthwait, who will share a few examples of what this looks like in practice at the secondary level.
So one thing we do really well in the world of special education is adapt. And you might have noticed there was a few other presenters that were supposed to be presenting with us this evening. You're going to pretend like I live in HBT, work in HBT, I'm an HBT member. My office is there. However, many of the things I'm going to speak to are directly from our HBT staff and learners. So one of the first things, and let me just go back to my area, is that the great work that's being done at the elementary school and continues in the middle school level. Students who are a part of the RISE program are first and foremost a part of HBT. They participate in various field trips, including the one to Urban Air that's highlighted in these pictures, and engage in clubs and activities, including Serendipity, Cooking Club, and HBTV. Moreover, our students in RISE participate in their exploratory classes. Art, for example, provides an ideal opportunity for students in RISE to work side by side with their general education peers. This has allowed all of our students to shine and grow in the classroom and also during art competitions. Our occupational therapist, Ms. Pantel, and our speech provider, Ms. Akeda at HBT, shared the following regarding their corporation of expertise alongside the students in the RISE program. Our RISE program integrates occupational and speech therapy services by developing the functional motor and communication skills necessary for daily routines, pre-vocational experiences, and social connections. This is then reinforced through our social skills programs, our school store, our kids in the kitchen, and our coffee cart, which collaboratively fosters well-rounded life skills for greater autonomy. In the photos that are included here, you will see some of what our related service providers are referencing. In addition to our Urban Air photos, the other picture shows members of our HBT community gathered together for some exciting cooking opportunities during Multicultural Week. One of our world language teachers works directly with our students in the RISE program multiple times a week, engaging them in activities surrounding cultural competency. An added bonus is that some of these students have started to pick up Spanish along the way. To again build on the elementary school, HBT has incorporated an increased use and understanding of low-tech, high-tech, and visual aids throughout the building to support student learning and community engagement. We do have a buddy program that fosters peer engagement strategies and bolsters connections between those students. In addition to the buddy program, another example of engagement strategies comes from our school store. Last year, our RISE students designed and opened a school store at HBT. Since its inception, this has been an incredible opportunity for school-wide engagement for all learners and our teachers. The store is staffed by our students, alongside, at varying times, other support staff, related service providers, and teachers. This allows for the ongoing blending of functional academics and life skills in an intellectually and socially engaging atmosphere. And for those of you who may have some retail experience in your past, you know what it's like to meet a customer's demands. Everyone involved in the school store, from the patrons to the staff, work together to assure that sales are running smoothly, with one of our retail associates recently sharing with us that she absolutely loves having her friends come to visit her at the school store. I would also like to mention our Rise and Shine, which is a school coffee shop. Do not worry, we do not serve coffee to students. But it is something that our students and staff understand as a hub of Friday mornings at HBT. Our RISE participants, with the periodic support of some of our general education students, make sure that all of our staff is fueled and ready to go. One of our own baristas recently shared that she loves making coffee deliveries, while another one shared that he likes making his teachers happy. These opportunities highlight our interdisciplinary approach to learning, with hands-on experiences, and allows us to focus on the soft skills that our students will need for future collaboration and success. When we focus on this final pillar, It's really something that we want to make sure we focus on, and it's our Challenger program. We currently run Challenger basketball, cheer, and track and field. This was our first year hosting Challenger Cheer, which ran as an integrated model. While I would love to take credit for this idea, it was not mine or any member of HBT. It was one of our students' dreams to be a cheerleader. With both her advocacy and the support of our athletic department, our teachers, and the students, this dream became a reality this year for her. Moreover, our Challenger basketball games not only incorporated our cheer program this year, it included our band and members of other various HBT clubs. These games were truly school-wide and school-inclusive events. This is what Syosset is all about. It demonstrates our shared commitment to meeting the needs of all of our students. Please be on the lookout for future Challenger opportunities, possibly soccer in the fall. The last part of our presentation is going to focus more on not what we do here in school, but how what we do here in school has extended outside of our school boundaries. Two specific examples that illustrate how students have taken their own initiative to create more inclusive opportunities within the Syosset community are Unity Tennis and Adaptive Softball. Louis Pareto, Anna Steinberg, and Jake Steinberg, Syosset High School students, wanted to share their love of tennis with all students. So together with the support of Mr. Stuber, Coach Fisher, and the collaboration with SEPTA, they offered a multi-series session clinic working with students on learning how to play tennis. 14 of our Syosset students participated in this clinic. But Louis, Anna, and Jake do not want this to end here. Their end goal is to try and make Unity Tennis become a challenger sport in the future. The second example of student-initiative inclusive sport opportunities come from HBT student Sahara Afzal and Southwood student Sia Mehta, both who are here tonight and will be sharing with you their experience. These two 8th grade students both attended South Grove Elementary School together and have stayed friends throughout their softball and Girl Scouts connection. Last year, they both decided to do their Girl Scouts Silver Award project together, and this project was aimed to expose neurodiverse students to sports like softball. I want to introduce Sia and Sarah to the podium to be able to share how their idea came to reality.
Thank you, Ms. Goldthwait. Hi, everyone. I'm Sahara.
And I'm Sia. We realized that in our community, there are not enough opportunities for neurodiverse girls and boys to play sports in general, but specifically softball. We have not seen enough teams and programs for some students to participate in. We want to help all kids have the chance to learn basic softball skills and be part of a team environment. This has been such an important part of our lives, and we wanted other students to get a chance to have a positive experience with other kids in sports. We have been playing softball together for 4 years and want to share the success that we felt with our Syosset Cyclones team.
We started with an introduction with all of the participants meeting their buddies and an icebreaker to get everyone comfortable. Then we gathered in a circle to do stretches and warm up. We had each of the buddies and participants run the bases, and members of our team would give high fives and encouragement along the way. Then we started each of our 3 stations, throwing and catching, fielding, and hitting. We used wiffle balls, foam bats and balls, and tees. We also brought some of our softball gloves for the participants to try on and use if they wanted to. After the stations, we gathered the parents and participants for an award ceremony. Each participant received a certificate from their buddy, and their buddy said one thing that stood out about them. Finally, we served pizza and refreshments to everyone and thanked them for coming and helping us have such a successful clinic. Overall, the clinic was a huge hit, and we felt that we had such a positive impact.
After the clinic, we created a Google form to receive feedback from the participants and their parents. One question that we asked was their thoughts on their overall clinic. One parent said, "Thank you for creating something wonderful for children who don't always feel successful with typical activities." Another parent said, "Everything was well organized, everyone was welcoming, positive, and warm." We were so grateful to receive this feedback because this is exactly what we are striving to do.
We originally started out this clinic as a project for our Girl Scout Silver Award, but it became so much more than that, and we felt like it was an easy decision to do another clinic this year. During the clinic, Sia and I had a great time connecting with each of the participants and sharing our love for softball with them. We loved seeing our teammates unite with the kids and get to know the participants over the stations and lunch. After hearing that positive feedback, we realized how much fun and inclusion it brought to the kids. We hope that we can start a pattern of many more opportunities for neurodiverse children to be part of a team environment and experience sports in the life-changing way that me and Sia have. Thank you.
So not only am I filling in for people who are not here, it's extremely challenging to follow students to end a presentation, but I'm going to do my best. This is exactly why we're here, and this is exactly why we do what we do. It speaks volumes for our inclusive, accepting, and affirming community, especially the work that some of the students through Unity Tennis and Adaptive Softball have highlighted for us. In the years that I have been here in Syosset, I have seen this district grow programming to meet the ever-changing needs of our students all the way up to age 22. In the last 3 years alone, we have been able to extend an on-ramp to support neurodiverse learners through an expanded capacity within our buildings. Our 913 program and RISE program, as well as our student-led initiatives, are part of what this shift looks like. We are proud of where we are today, and we believe that we have more than just a strong foundation established. We will continue to open doors and build community with the support of everyone committed to ensuring that Syosset is a home for all learners. I want to thank you for your continued support and your guidance in allowing us to do this work. Thanks, and open to questions.
Thank you for the presentation, and of course the students and the team as well. I'm very proud to be part of this community. Okay, are there any questions for, okay. All right, Mr. Rotolo and Ms. Abramson.
Thank you. Ms. Golwith, I can't thank you enough, and Dr. McEwen. I was fortunate to meet both of you on your interviews, and I remember meeting Erin, and she had me on child and family-centric when I heard her speak those words, and I knew she cared deeply about our students. I was really fortunate that the board was able to go to the 931 class, and these were kindergartners, first graders, nonverbal. So the work that your group is doing is amazing. What I wanted to also say is just to point out the importance of keeping our children in the district. So if everybody doesn't understand what happens is if your child is nonverbal and is in first or second grade, and now you're putting them on a bus and they're going far away, that's going to be very difficult for that child. So the fact that we are able to keep the children in-house is tremendous. The fact that we're able to integrate and make students feel like they belong is also life-changing. It's not something nice, it's going to make a difference in someone's life. So if you're a child and you're in a self-contained class, you don't have any other friends, you don't get to go to music, you don't get to play sports, you just stay in that class, which is very difficult. So I cannot thank you all enough for the work that you've done. It's a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Abramson?
I also don't have a question. I just want to, first, congratulations. But also, thank you just so much, because that's the goal. The goal is community. The goal is, to have children demanding for cheerleading so that they can be more inclusive. That's what we're trying to build here. So just thank you, and keep going and let us know what we can do to help. But thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any more questions? Mr. Ostrich.
Thank you, Ms. Goldthwait. So our BCBAs, do you know what our FTEs are up to and where they cover across the district?
So we have 3 total BCBAs in the district currently. One of them is specifically assigned right now to the high school and HBT. And then the other two, one of them supports 4 of our elementary schools, and the other BCBA does 3 of our elementary schools and Southwoods Middle School. So that it's a little specific depending upon number of need within each of those buildings, so we have it equally dispersed amongst each of the 3 BCBAs.
Just one more quick question, so thank you. I don't want to devolve into a statement, but I do want to say that over the last few years, I've had the opportunity to see the way SEPTA has expanded both parent and faculty participation. And I know that you were talking about the professional development, and that is starting to really show in terms of participation in SEPTA. Dr. Rogers, the question I had for you is, as you think about the increased need that we're seeing across the district, how do we, what do the next 3 to 5 years look like in terms of the next set of development that we're going to be targeting as you think about the growing population?
Thanks for the question. I think some of it is known and some of it's unknown. So it's easier to talk about what's unknown because in some ways I can describe why it's unknown. So with the 2 913 classes that we created at the elementary school, we've created one and we're planning to create another next year. But we're proud of that because it allows us to educate these students here. But the reason why those classes make sense is because the students came to us with the right set of needs for that to be the right programming option for them. So we have a little bit of a glimpse of what the current UPK class looks like. That's informing our design of next year's kindergarten 913 class. But it's hard to see what the 3-year-olds look like now because we don't really have a sense of who they are. So whether we continue this growth in 913 classes for our youngest learners will likely depend on who's in that class of 3-year-olds in the school district. But I do think that this cohort, these now 2 grades of 913 classes, at the very least, will hopefully stay with us through the course of these children 12, 13, 14 years with us. So serving them as they age into other programs is kind of a definite. So we have to think about what those programs will look like as these children become older, eventually enter middle school. In terms of the longer arc of special education services here in the district, I'd say there's been 2 broad goals. Broad goal number 1 has been to try and find optimal service models. So as Ms. Goldthwait said, prior to 22, one of the decisions we made was to expand the ICT program. When I arrived here 11 years ago, ICT only existed in the middle schools. So we started to talk about how students' needs were being served in the elementary school and in the high school, and we decided that it made sense to branch out in both directions from the middle school, start to create some ICT programs at the high school, and also start to create some ICT programs at the elementary school, and again, driven by student need. So we have seen those programs both at elementary school and at high school grow. So I think part of what we need to do over the next 2 or 3 years is think about whether that model is the model that we're going to keep, or whether there's, as it's grown, it's an opportunity to look at it and say, is there a way that we should refine this or do it differently? So I think that's one of the things that I anticipate in the future. And then the third point is maybe less in special education, but in adjacent student services. We're finding a larger range of needs, not just within our neediest population, but in other students who are presenting with some needs that need additional support. So you asked a question about behavior analysts, BCBAs. Again, when I arrived here 11 years ago, we didn't have any. And so now, 11 years later, we have 3, and find that they're fully subscribed in terms of their roles. So I think there is an overall trajectory of seeing more need in the student population, and I think that need deepened after COVID. And so some of it is calibrating the models to make sure we have the right models in place, and some of it is just calibrating the number of resources that we have, and that's driven by student need.
Are there any more questions? Dr. Park?
Thank you for the presentation, and your team truly is transforming this special education for our students. And I believe our students do feel empowered, and the stigma of being labeled as a special ed student, I think, is diminishing, and that's just a wonderful thing to see. And what you said about inclusive teaching and everyone feeling valued, and I just hope and pray that that translates to the whole school in every level. And it's just wonderful things you're doing. I have two questions and one comment. One thing about the comment first. When you say you're keeping our students with high needs here in school and bringing back the kids who are out of school, out of district, to back to school, I think there is a huge benefit for the parents. As a parent, if my child is staying in one of the 10 schools, it will make me feel so much safer, comforted, and that security that you are giving to the family, I think, is tremendous, and that benefit, I think, is something that you should, write it in one of the benefits. Two questions. One is, you said there is an increase in children with special ed need. Do you think that the reason is because you're just better at recognizing the need, or is there a true increase in number of students who require that? And do you see a reason why the students need more help? Is it the result of COVID? Is some other, it's just increased number of our students? So that's one question. And second question is, last month we heard a spectacular presentation on AI for our general ed. For our special ed students, will integrating AI to their curriculum, will it be more complex? Will it be more resource intensive than general education? And what unique challenges do you foresee for our staff to integrate AI to their training? Those two questions.
Well, thank you to start, and then I'll take each question in a row. So if I knew the answer to your first question, I would be able to solve a lot of problems. So I don't have the exact answer. I think it's multivariable. I think we have many more students that are kind of continuously coming here to Syosset, and that's definitely adding some increased levels of support and need that we're seeing. We are seeing some of our early learners identified on a I think parents are a little bit more aware, and so we're seeing a little bit of an increase in our CPSC referrals or requests to be able to look into areas of potential need. And I think that there were definitely quite a few years where students had some different aspects that even as adults we struggled navigating, COVID being one of them. But even prior to COVID, there were some difficulties with lots of different types of new variables that are interacting with our students' worlds, like social media and technology, that are kind of changing the way, students' brains are actually wired the younger that they are, and B, the way that they're able to interact successfully within schools. So I think that there's a lot of reasons why we might see an increased need, or at least a more specific areas of needs that we can identify how to support students within district here. So I know it's not a total answer. I think there's a lot of factors that impact why we see students who have different needs. And I think also it's not necessarily that there's a new outpouring of students with needs. I think we also found an opportunity here. So we were able to find space. We were able to find a cohort of students that we knew would create a good a classroom community together. So looking proactively at those options have also really allowed us to enhance what those programs look like here in district. So I think there's lots of pieces to answer your first question. The second one, just remind me again quick, because I want to make sure I miss any parts of it. AI. So it's so funny, actually. I don't know if any of the ICT teachers are here. We actually talked about AI in our ICT department meeting this morning. AI can be a little tricky because what we do in the world of special education is individualized learning. And AI, we want to be really thoughtful about how much personal information we're plugging into a system to be able to then kind of help out. There is an AI pilot that is being worked on. Ms. Ahn is actually helping kind of spearhead that in the sense of how can we take information to create interventions and instructional options for students. So to help teachers kind of come up with new ideas on different types of interventions that are out there. So that is something that's happening now. And I think that's something too that even in the sense of some of the projects we saw at last month's Board of Ed meeting, the specialized decodable books, that's for every learner, not just some learners. So we're able to kind of integrate how AI can benefit any learner by thinking about special education and general education students in that model. I think when it comes to students, that's something we're all going to be kind of working together toward next, and how can we help students learn and understand how to use AI for their benefit and not necessarily for a shortcut.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ortolo?
Also, are we identifying students earlier too through our UPK program?
So I do think that it allows us to get a closer look at students, and to be very honest, one of the real benefits of UPK is working collaboratively with Dr. Wojcik to be able to support the staff that are working with our students in UPK. So at times it might give us an earlier glimpse of looking at students and working collaboratively with staff to see if students are able to respond to intervention before we think about classification. That is definitely one piece that is giving us a little bit of a greater in-depth look. The world of preschool special education, CPSE, always had a look into multiple programs. Now that as a district we're kind of bringing them together under UPK, it does allow for a more collaborative and more thoughtful approach to looking at students and supporting them at that level.
And I know too, when I came to observe the 931 class, I had noticed that we were using other tools like the tablets, and I know those, you know, maybe children that have hearing issues or a language barrier or other physical disabilities. Can you expand a little bit more on some of those tools that help educate?
And I actually can answer a little bit of Mr. Ostrich's question in the sense of where are we going next with our programming. One of the things that we were able to do is utilize, we have an assistive tech consultant that works within district here, Ms. Lewis, working collaboratively with one of our speech and language teachers, Ms. Shear at Berry Hill, who really have come together to want to become experts in the utilization and even in evaluations for AAC devices. So finding opportunities where our own internal staff want to be able to be the ones where we're not seeking out services from out of district to be able to support in students' district. We actually carved out opportunities and time for them to do the evaluations, for them to program the devices, and then to work and collaborate with our teachers in the moment. So that's a part of things that we've been able to enhance and develop internally here by finding different staff members that are taking initiative and wanting to grow and learn and develop and then share that learning with others. That's one opportunity that we've been able to build here in district through this programming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
So,
Coach. You could go home.
Sia and Sahara, before you... Sia and Sahara, I just wanted to first of all compliment you on the incredible work that you're doing and wish you the best of luck next Sunday with the next event. But I also want to tell you a little story. So the board is aware of this. You might not be. I have an older brother who has multiple disabilities. He's deaf, but he also has cerebral palsy. And that makes us when I was growing up in we'll call it the late 70s, it made us a very conspicuous family when we were out in public. And so I understand what it feels like to be a conspicuous person in that way. And a lot has changed since the 1970s, but I can't imagine how our lives would have been different if there were a couple of really cool 8th graders that decided to make us feel welcome in what was going on. I think that would have been a game changer for us. So I hope you realize that you are a game changer for a lot of people by what you're doing. And I know I'm not supposed to get emotional up here, and I'm pretty good at keeping it all under control, but it reminds me of what it was like to grow up in a special family, and I just think that what you're doing is extraordinary. So I admire you so much for it, and I just want you to know from somebody who had part of this experience that I know what you're doing is making a difference. I'm sure of it. Now, you can watch us do the rest of our work, or you can go get some sleep. So those are your choices.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rogers, for sharing that such a touching personal stories. And I wish the Sierra and Sarah the best of luck, and just continue to keep up with the great work. Thank you. And we have no legislative items, no discussion items, and no unfinished business. And we are going to do our new business. And 13A is the approval of staff changes. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 13B is the approval of stipends and hourly rates 2024-2025. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Falkov, second by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 13C is the appointment of interim director of pupil personnel services, revised. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 14A is the first reading of revised policy 2300, and that is the Board of Ed membership. And the second reading of the stated policy will be during the June 9th, 2025 board meeting. The said policy will be available for inspection on the district website. 14B is the approval of settlement agreement and general release. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 14C is the approval of settlement agreement and general release. And can I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15A is the authorization of service contracts. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Levitan, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15B is the authorization for health services. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15C is the award of bids. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15D is the approval of request for proposal. Award for property and casualty insurance services 2025-2026. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15E is the authorization to participate in cooperative CDW Government LLC. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15F is the acceptance of donations. Regeneron Science Talent Search 2025 School Award. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15G is the acceptance of donation, tree. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15H is the disposal of broken, surplus, and/or obsolete equipment, supplies, and books. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. And next, we're moving to the audience to the public. And please just bear with me as I read the newly adopted procedures. The Board of Ed values community input and provides opportunities to offer that input via email or in person. Persons who wish to speak during audience to the public must register online to speak in advance of the meeting by 5 p.m. the day of the board meeting. A link to the pre-registration form will be made available on the homepage on the district website 1 week before the meeting. Persons wishing to address the Board of Ed in person during audience to the public must conform to procedures adopted by the board. Speakers' remarks must conform to the following rules. All speakers and observers are required to conduct themselves in a respectful and civil manner in accordance with the rules set by the board. Speakers must address the board only, not members of the audience or the audience as a whole. Speakers must limit their comments to issues concerning school district operations, school district affairs, or board policy. Because of rights protected by state and federal law, no speaker may speak about an individual student or staff member, nor will the board or administration entertain questions in public regarding collective bargaining, negotiation, personnel matters, student matters, or legal matters. No speaker may speak about decisions involving specific personnel or specific students. If a speaker wishes to address the board concerning specific personnel or specific students, the speaker may write to the board. Speakers may not use epithets, slurs, personal abuse, lewd and obscene speech, profanity, libelous speech, threats, and fighting words or gestures, defined as words or gestures which by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite a breach of the peace. Any person who violates the rules above will immediately forfeit the balance of their time addressing the board. To be recognized to speak, person must register with their full name and address and attest that they will comply with the rules stated above. In addition, only residents of the Syosset Central School District are permitted to address the board. Each resident will have 4 minutes to address the board, which may be extended or reduced at the discretion of the chair. The board will not permit polling of the board members by speakers. After every resident wishing to speak has had an opportunity to do so, the board and/or administration may respond to residents' questions or comments. No residents will be permitted to address the board more than once per meeting. No one may record another member of the public in a manner that is disruptive or confrontational. And with that,